lesson, we will be dealing with genre as type of writing. So we have different genres as type of writing. We have narrative writing, descriptive writing, expository writing, persuasive writing, workplace and technical writing, research writing, and writing for media. Let's deal first with the narrative writing. When we say narrative writing, it is a form of writing that tells a story. It narrates something. So here are the characteristics of narrative writing. First is it has clear focus or main point. It presents events in a chronological or time order, has a well-developed plot, use sensory details, those words that stimulate our senses. Use the elements of narrative, which includes the setting, characters, plot, and theme. And another characteristics of narrative writing is the effective use of sentence structures. There are forms of narrative writing. First is the fiction narratives. When we say fiction narratives, these are literary texts that tell a story about imagined people, events, and ideas. Meaning to say, whatever is written here is just the result of the imagination of the writers. Fiction narratives have different forms as well. We have the realistic fiction. It portrays invented characters and events in everyday situations. In other words, this narrative resembles real life. It's like the characters involved in the story also have the characteristics that real people have or happens in real life. Example of this is the short story The Necklace, written by Guy de Maupassant, wherein the leading character has the quality of being pretentious and materialistic, which can be also seen in real life, where other people pretend and drown into material things. Next is fantasy stories. It is highly imaginative writing that contain elements not found in real life. Fantasy stories involve invented worlds and creatures such as dragons, fairies, ogres, etc. It involves magic and such. For instance, we have Narnia. Next is the historical fiction. It's about imaginary people living in real places and times of history. Example of this is the movie General Luna. Next is mystery stories, which present unexplained or strange events that characters try to solve. It often characterizes with suspense and surprises. Example is The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. Next is we have myth. It explains the actions of gods and goddesses. It is a narrative that involves gods and goddesses. Example is the story of Valhalla. Next is the legends. These are widely stories about the past that people before usually believes and not questioned by many people. Example is yung alamat ng pinya. Next is science fiction. It involves imaginary events that involve science or technology. Example of this is the movie Transformers. Another form of narrative writing is non-fiction narratives. It is a literary text that tells a story about real people, events, and ideas. In other words, whatever written here is true or happened in real life. Non-fiction narrative also have forms. First is the personal narrative. It tells true stories about events in a person's life. They are also called as autobiographical narratives. So here, since the story is written is about the writer and he or she is the one who writes this, the pronoun that he or she uses is I. Next is biographical narratives. These are accounts of a person's life written by someone else. Whatever written here is also factual and about the life and story of a person. But this time, it is written by someone else. Example, I will write about the life of Taylor Swift. Next is diary and journal articles. These are highly personal experiences, thoughts, and feelings. So usually you write here your day-to-day experience for the whole day. Next is blogs. These are online journals that may include autobiographical narratives, reflections, opinions, and other types of comments. Next is memoirs. These are accounts written by somebody about meaningful scenes in his or her life and experiences. In other words, this includes your personal memory of a person, of a place, or thing that happened to you or you have experienced. Next is eyewitness account, which should focus on historical or other important events. Here, the writer is the narrator because he or she is the one who witnessed the events that happened there. Example of this is the one you've watched in television, which is entitled Eyewitness. Next, we have the reflective essay. It presents personal experiences that generally focus on sharing observations and insights the writer had while thinking about these experiences. As defined by study.com, reflective essay is when the writer writes about those experiences, exploring how he or she has changed, developed, or grown from those experiences. It's like doing a self-reflection. Now let's move on to another genre as type of writing. We have descriptive writing, which expresses ideas and feelings about real or imagined people, events, and ideas. It uses sensory language to create vivid images and stimulate the senses of the readers. So here, when you write about this, you have to use a lot of adjectives because you are describing. So there are forms of descriptive writing. The first one is descriptive essay, which uses words that involves the senses to create a clear picture of the subject. Let's say, for example, your chosen topic is about your family. Having this descriptive essay, you may describe everything about your family. And to do that, you have to use adjectives and figurative language to make your essay interesting and well written. Next is the travel essay. When you write a travel essay, you must use sensory words to describe a place you have visited. Let's say you visited 5 Asian countries. You may describe each of the countries you have visited using descriptive words or adjectives. Next, we have the definition essay, which describes something abstract. For example, friendship or love. The content of your essay should be about friendship. Define what is friendship. It can be based on your own understanding and experience of friendship or base it to others. Next genre is expository writing. It is a type of writing that intends to communicate ideas and information and relies on facts to inform or to explain. In other words, its main purpose is to inform people and help them be knowledgeable about a certain topic. We have different forms of expository writing. The first one is compare and contrast essay. It explores similarities and differences between two or more things for a specific purpose. Example, you will write about the movie you've watched yesterday. You can compare and contrast that based on the quality of the movie, the characters involved, the way they acted and delivered their lines, the settings, the props they use, and many more. Next is cause and effect essay. It traces the results of an event or describes the reasons of an event happen. Example, you write about the water pollution in your hometown. In this essay, you may write the cause of water pollution in your hometown. You may write that people are not throwing their trash properly and throw it in the water, so something like that. Next form is classification essay. A writer organizes a subject into categories and explains the category into which an item falls. For example, if you choose to write about living and non-living things, each of your developmental paragraphs will define the characteristics of the things you've written there and explains why the item classifies as living or non-living thing. Next is problem solution essay. It presents a problem and then offers a solution to that problem. Example, you choose to write about poor study habits. This will be the main problem of your essay. In your essay, and then in your paragraphs, you can write the solutions for having a poor study habits. So that's a problem solution essay. As you can see, what I have given you is just a brief background, but don't worry, we will give emphasis to this with further explanations and examples as we move on with our lessons. You'll be able to know the step-by-step process of writing those different genres. For the discussion of other genre as type of writing, please do watch the part 2 of this. So that's the end of our video for today. I hope you've learned something. Thank you!